Guys, you join me at Verge Motorcycles, a company out of Finland, and more impressive than these Tron-like bikes is the battery technology that's coming from them next year. The solid state batteries that we're gonna see will transform and change the world, not just for these motorcycles, but for every automobile that will be made into the future if it's real and if they can deliver on their promises. Let's take a closer look and see what these are all about. They have these very impressive motors that look like something out of the future. And from there, they started working on battery technology. And that spun off to make Donut Labs. And Donut Labs is what we're hearing about at CES this week. And that company has released information about something that is really transformative. And this is the key to everything. So what we have to do here is think about what that looks like for the future. Technology like Donut Labs and Toyota, solid state, that is going to be what's really important to making EVs affordable. Now, we still have to test it out. We still have to see how it works when we go to actually put it into use, and we have to see if it can scale. That's always been the problem in the past, is whether or not you can take something and move it from a low volume production and ramp it up into series production. So let's see what happens later this year when these actually get delivered and into customers' hands. These folks are out of Finland, and they are the stars of CES. We are checking out their bikes, and more importantly, the batteries that Donut Labs debuted are going to be something that revolutionizes automotive and motorcycle transportation. They already have these amazing electric motors that are the secrets behind these revolutionary bikes. We're gonna check these out, and what's exciting is what they're delivering here in about March of 2026 coming up is going to change everything about range and electrification on these bikes to start, but in what you drive going into the future. Let's discover together what it is about these that is so special. So let's talk about what you get today. We're talking about 217 miles of range, and it's charging off CCS. In the new model that's coming out, it's gonna change to NACS, and we're gonna get 370 miles of range, and that's gonna be in 10 minutes. That changes everything. What's exciting is this technology of solid state. It can be formed in any type of battery pack and used for any type of purpose. So it's gonna go well beyond these motorcycles. We can start to see it in things like drones and items like your cars. It's going to start out with about 1 gigawatt of production, and it's gonna hopefully scale, they're saying, to 10. And at that point, you can talk about automotive manufacturing. That is critical for the future when we're talking about lowering the cost of automotive vehicles. At that point, you can really start to see it being applied in everyday vehicles that you and I can use. Now, how are they accomplishing this? This is the question that nobody knows. They're saying that there's no lithium in this, that they can charge it all the way up to 100 as many times as you like. The cycles are 1,000 cycles without any degradation. They're saying you can do this at freezing temperatures, at scorching temperatures in the desert. How are they accomplishing it? Nobody knows. I'm sure it's got the attention of BYD, CATL. I promise you they're gonna be buying these and getting reservations in as soon as they can and tearing them apart. Sandy Munro, I'm sure, is gonna be eager to tear it down and assess it. I've got questions, you've got questions. We don't have answers yet, but I'm sure they're coming. They promise us more will be revealed. There's been speculation that maybe it's gonna be in the form of some type of capacitor technology. There's been a lot of different ideas of how that's gonna happen. I know Toyota's got batteries out there that they're working on that are solid state. There's always been different types of obstacles in the way, dendrites and other types of things that keep it from scaling as efficiently. There's been cost concerns. Elon has always said that prototyping is easier, but the manufacturing and scaling and production is what's hard. Famously, when they talked about the Model 3, they went through production hell. Will there be an equivalent hell when they go to scale these? We're gonna find out, but for now, the promise is something that I certainly want to believe in, but time will tell whether or not we can get these things into vehicles. The first test will be delivering later this year with these bikes. That will occur first in Los Angeles, down in Southern California. They're gonna have the first customers taking delivery, and that's gonna be the first time that we get to see them on the road and get some true testing. So now, while the company is out of Finland, the manufacturing for the bikes and for the batteries comes out of Estonia. Now, there are military implications for these. These are not coming out of China. They're gonna have a lot of different ways that they can use these batteries and make them for different custom applications. They've talked about they can also customize the voltages, which is important because that way they can be replacement batteries for whatever application is needed. If they need to slide into an existing form factor or an existing application, they can fit right into the existing voltage or amperage that that customer needs. These are all going to be critical for being able to put these into an existing platform and easy to engineer around. There are so many implications for this that it's exciting to think about how this will actually be used in the marketplace. Now, whether or not this gets used by an OEM, by a Ford, a GM, a Chevy, a Honda, who the heck knows? This is going to be the first thing that I want to know is who's going to sign the license or the agreement. I'm sure, again, like we said, BYD, LG Chem, CATL, they have to be eager to figure out what's going on here and what it is that is the secret sauce. And I'm sure this is something they're trying to protect, but how long can they protect it? They've got to start to scale this thing because someone is going to figure it out and they're going to have to go to market as soon as they can. So while others talk about what they're going to be doing in some magical future, these guys have already had 600 reservations that they'll be delivering this year in just a couple months, in fact. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. Now, we've seen these promises before, and whether or not they can scale it, like we said, is going to be key. So I'm interested in what you think. Are you excited about it? Do you think you'll see this in a vehicle that you'll be buying later in the future? Leave your thoughts in the comment. I'm really curious what you guys are excited about. So what do you guys think? Does this change everything? Is this the end of gas? Does this bring to the masses the ability to go electric? It's not just about the price of batteries. You still have to charge things. You still have to be able to bring this to apartment buildings, but this certainly can bring down the cost to manufacture if it can be scaled and licensed, and other people, I think, will increase the urgency behind what they're doing, because once they see this, it's certainly going to put a fire under them to figure out what they're doing and where their technology is. And I promise you, there's a whole bunch of people right now scrambling around offices trying to figure out all of the investment and capital and things that they've been putting their money into, and where are their teams at, because there's no way that if this stuff works that they're going to be sitting around with all the money that they've put into their manufacturing, their technology, and their research. They're not going to let that just go to waste. They've got to get to market. If these folks are getting to market this year, they have to figure that out. And that means a whole lot of momentum, and that's a good thing for electric vehicles. No matter how this pans out, as long as these deliver on what they're promising, I think that's a good thing for everybody. But let me know what you think. I'm really curious where your head's at. Do you think this is fugazi, or do you think this is the dream we've been waiting for? I think we've been there before with other promises, and we've been let down. What about this time? Let me know your thoughts. We'll see you on the next one.